You look up at the night sky and ask if anyone is out there. You've asked it since you were a kid. It feels like the biggest question you could ask, but you might be asking it backwards. What if the real question isn't whether aliens exist somewhere else? What if the real question is whether you already are one? Here's the strange part. Every cell in your body carries a kind of memory. It remembers water. It remembers salt. Your blood is almost the same concentration of sodium as the ancient ocean your earliest ancestors crawled out of. That's not a coincidence. That's a signature. And some scientists think that signature might not have started on Earth at all. Let's slow down. What does it actually mean to be from somewhere? You assume Earth is home because you were born here. Your parents were born here. So were their parents, stretching back through generations you'll never meet. But zoom out far enough and that logic gets shaky. Every atom in your body was forged inside a star that died billions of years before the sun even existed. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood. None of it is native to this planet. It's borrowed. It traveled here across unimaginable distances, scattered by an explosion older than the solar system itself. In a very real sense, you are made of interstellar debris that happened to land in the right place and start moving. So maybe the question was never, are aliens real? Maybe it's, what counts as alien in the first place? In 1969, a meteorite fell near Murchison, Australia. Scientists cracked it open expecting rock. Instead, they found amino acids, the building blocks of life, sitting inside a space rock that had been drifting for who knows how long before it hit our atmosphere. That discovery didn't prove life came from space, but it proved something almost as strange. The ingredients for life aren't rare. They're floating around out there, waiting for the right rock to carry them somewhere with water and warmth. This is the idea researchers call Panspermia, the theory that life, or at least the raw material for life, can travel between worlds, riding on comets, riding on asteroids, riding on dust. Nobel laureate Francis Crick, the same man who helped uncover the structure of DNA, took the idea seriously enough to publish on it. He called it directed panspermia, the possibility that life on Earth was deliberately seeded by an intelligence somewhere else entirely. Most scientists don't think that version is likely, but the softer version, that life's ingredients hitchhike across space, is taken far more seriously than you'd expect. Think about what that means for you specifically, not humanity in the abstract. You, your DNA, your body. If the raw ingredients for life crossed the void before they ever became Earth life, then the line between local and alien starts to blur. You didn't spring fully formed from this planet's soil. You are the end result of a process that may have begun somewhere else, in conditions no human has ever seen, long before this planet had a name. Here's where it gets stranger. Earth has been habitable for roughly 4 billion years. Life showed up almost immediately. Suspiciously fast, actually. Fast enough that some scientists find the timeline hard to explain through slow, gradual chemistry alone. Life had almost no time to figure itself out from scratch. It was here almost as soon as the planet cooled enough to allow it. Why? One answer is dumb luck. Chemistry got lucky quickly. Another answer is less comfortable. Maybe life didn't have to start from zero here. Maybe it arrived preloaded, carried in on the same rain of comets and asteroids that battered the early Earth for hundreds of millions of years. If that's true, then technically, biologically, you are an immigrant. Your ancestors weren't from here. They were from wherever the debris came from. Now flip the telescope around. In 2017, astronomers spotted something moving through our solar system that didn't behave like anything they'd seen before. They named it Oumuamua, a Hawaiian word roughly meaning scout or messenger from afar. It was elongated, tumbling, moving too fast to have come from anywhere nearby. It wasn't orbiting the sun. It was just passing through, on its way somewhere else, having already traveled for who knows how many millions of years before it ever crossed our sky. Some astronomers, including Harvard's Avi Loeb, publicly raised the question of whether it might not be natural at all. Most researchers disagreed, but the disagreement itself was telling. Nobody could fully rule it out. An object like that isn't rare because it's unusual. It's rare because we finally had the tools to notice it. Space is full of wanderers like that. Rocks, debris, maybe occasionally something else. And every few 100 million years, one of them might find a planet with the right temperature, the right chemistry, the right amount of time to let something small become something alive. So here's the uncomfortable possibility. What if you are the result of exactly that? Not a fluke of Earth, a fluke of the galaxy. Something that started somewhere else and simply finished the job here, because here happened to have water, sunlight, and 4 billion years to spare. You don't feel alien. You feel like you belong here. That feeling is real, and it matters. But belonging and origin aren't the same thing. A tree planted from a seed carried by the wind still grows roots. It still becomes part of the forest. It still belongs. But the seed came from somewhere else first. Maybe that's you. Maybe that's everyone you've ever loved. Maybe that's every living thing you've ever seen. Not aliens in the sense of little green visitors. Aliens in the quieter sense. Travelers, several billion years removed from the trip, who forgot they were ever traveling at all. This reframes the Fermi paradox too. That's the famous question physicist Enrico Fermi asked decades ago. If the universe is so vast and so old and so full of the right ingredients for life, where is everybody? Why haven't we heard from anyone? Maybe the answer isn't that we're alone. Maybe the answer is that we already met them, so long ago and so gradually that there was no dramatic arrival to remember. No spaceship, no signal, just chemistry, drifting quietly across the dark for millions of years, landing somewhere warm and starting over. Consider your ancestors, not the recent ones, but the ancient ones. The first organisms that appeared on this planet almost the moment it was possible. Bacteria and simple cells that had no way of knowing what they would eventually become. They didn't know they were the beginning of dinosaurs or oceans full of fish, or you sitting here right now holding a phone made of metals also forged in dying stars. They were just surviving, one replication at a time, across 4 billion years in a straight, unbroken line that leads directly to your next heartbeat. That's the part that should actually make you feel something. Not fear. Continuity. You are not separate from the universe looking out at it, wondering if anyone else is home. You are what happens when the universe travels far enough, waits long enough, and finally finds a place to stay. So the next time you look up and ask if we're alone, try asking it differently. Ask what alien even means when your own body is built from material older than this planet, seeded by processes that started long before Earth existed, delivered by objects that spent millions of years crossing a silence you'll never fully understand. You looked up at the sky tonight and asked if anyone is out there. Maybe the answer was never up there. Maybe it's already looking back, right here, in the mirror.